Yo,
Greetings.
how you doing, man?
Greetings. I'm surviving. How you doing?
Living, living, living.
Hello,
Greetings.
greeting.
I see that President
Greetings,
Lamar.
greetings.
Yes, this is.
See that brother Ross Kimian in Savannah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got President Lamar from Detroit. He's from the Detroit UNIA.
Yes,
Okay, greetings, greetings.
greeting.
And brother Lamar, this is brother Ross Kimian. His family is from Dominica, the Eastern Caribbean, and he's connected to. I actually thought about he's connected to a Rastafari group in North Carolina that used to work with one of the UNIA. They got
Oh,
connections. Yeah, they got connections all over the Caribbean, and you know it's coming with ICE coming to Florida. There's going to be a lot of maybe protests, but he's part of one of the only self determination networks as far as Rastafari and no, as far as Caribbean people because Rastafari stand for self determination. So he's one of the people that's actually been organizing before these protests that are going to be coming about integration, and they're more about self determination. And so
right.
I was trying to see if we could build something in Jacksonville, and he actually has. I don't talk to the leader, but there used to be a UNIA in Savannah, and they're part of the same Rastafari network, but it's the same agenda or energy. So I'm trying to see what we could do in the area, connecting
Okay,
Detroit and this Florida, Georgia area.
okay,
Oh, I could put forward my ideas. There's, of course, there's what's going on in the Sahel, um,
hmm,
but there's also I've been talking to the Sahel is basically Nigeria as well. We've been talking about creating a United States of Africa movement by hitting the key border kingdoms and communities that are in the Sahel Alliance in Nigeria. So we're saying
hmm,
if we can mobilize people to go over there safely and promote Garveyism in the United States of Africa, the United Nations of Black Africans, we could do that. And if we have this Ethiopian, this Pan Caribbean network, that is a whole new dimension. I'm not Caribbean. I can't do the things that this brother can do. But if we have that as the base of organizing, we can do a lot as far as ID systems, as far as raising money and building communities overseas, and also, getting the Caribbean governments on one page. If we have a base overseas in the Caribbean and we're
right.
improving, if we're working with them, then the governments kind of have to come to the table. A lot of the countries are not that large. We have more influence in the USA and Africa with our size. We can, if we go, we can target these countries and have influence. Um, I know, and I was looking at it, the Haitian Spanish connection. That's maybe 60. That might be 60 million Caribbean people. We might even include Jamaica in there. And then if you look at the Eastern Caribbean states, there might be around 2 million Black people, with Trinidad, Bahamas, Barbados, and the Eastern Caribbean State Organization. So there might be 6 million around Jamaica and the Eastern Caribbean, and then with Haiti and the Spanish-speaking countries, that's maybe 40 to 60 million. So it might be two blocks where we can reach. We just need to have events and awareness in Jacksonville area, and we could do the same in Detroit. And that could be a natural connection with Detroit having the most Black Americans uh, in a city next to Memphis. And then we have a government partnership here with the Gullah Geechee African Americans. So we have a state recognition. We have the church. I know that's 2 hours away, Savannah, but if the brother we can work out days to meet up here in Jacksonville or do, just build a base here. Or if we put out a flyer, I could give it to some platforms and we just mobilize whatever we can do. but it's not a lot of organizations that are Rastafari or UNIA. So we're kind of limited to whatever us three can do as far as this
Well,
region.
right. We're building here in Detroit, but we're still very limited. We have 60 members that pay dues, but in reality, maybe 10 are real active beyond the dues and coming to some events. But in terms of work, the day-to-day work, we're very small here. We're trying to build um, um, and build an economic base so that we can have freedom to do other things. And so that's where we are here in Detroit.
Hmm.
And if we're successful, then I'll do the entire region of Ohio and Indiana as well. With Detroit is the major hub, but in Ohio you got everything from Columbus, Cleveland, and Cincinnati, all of which, and even parts in between that have substantial African American or Africans uh,
Hmm.
in those areas, and that includes some, uh, uh,
Hmm.
that includes um, the relatively new Haitians that were invited there, and that's the one Trump said were eating dogs and cats, which was, of course, just a lie, but it was just something.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
they're ending that the citizenship program or the temporary status. So they might be harassing them and deporting
right,
them.
exactly. So we got to make sure that we support them. So all these places, they destabilize their economy, and then when they come here, they act surprised.
Yeah, it's the UNIA. The UNIA is the documents that were created. It was basically a Black human rights document, and people took this. We took the symbolism, we took the flag, but we forgot the documents and the principles. So it's
Right.
kind of thrown everything into disarray, even to the point where we had our own Declaration of Human Rights before the United Nations was even born. Now we got people in the UNIA who go go to the United Nations and ask for rights. So
Right.
and that's kind of thrown us into a loop where, right now Trump is saying he's going to cancel the whole United Nations because Africa's uniting using Garvey principles, and we're stuck in the UNI and not even know what to do. We're saying it's not our fight, or it's So you're one of the only UNIA leaders that picks up the phone.
Okay.
Yep. So
Even now, when I pick up the phone, I'm driving. If you wonder, so I'm driving and talking, and talking, and I got the old-fashioned way with
okay,
holding the phone in hand, so I have to be careful.
I know I could probably reach out to the National Business League. That was Booker T. Washington's one of his group.
Yeah, he's a member. The president, international president, is a member of 407 in Detroit.
Wow,
Kenneth,
that man, that's a
Kenneth,
giant platform. That's a giant platform connected to the
yeah,
mayor.
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
and he's connected to the mayor. The mayor's a sellout, but he's connected to her. I'm not because she's a big sellout.
okay. No, well, I
She's a
thought it was a female,
terrible.
a woman mayor. Is a new mayor, right?
It's a woman mayor, right? It's a woman mayor. She's a big sellout, a young
Okay.
girl in her 30s. Her father was a bigger sellout, and her grandfather was a sellout. In fact,
Oh,
her grandfather, um, whose name is hard, they always show him as civil rights. He was married to a white woman, named who is the namesake of the mayor. Well, people don't know that, but her name is Mary Sheffield, and her grandmother's name was Mary Sheffield. Was
mm,
Mary something else? I don't know what her maiden name was. I'm talking about her grandmother because she's a white woman, the PWT at that,
mm. So
four
okay,
times, four
and
times white woman. So
so
that's always in the psychological backdrop in terms of their thinking, motivation. So you're limited in terms of African nationalism that you can do with someone with that type of mindset and background.
yeah, and that makes a question. I question the what we can do if we can do anything with the mayors a mayors association across the country, and they got state
We
panels.
can do, I'm a former state legislator, so we had something with the National Black, which was actually started also out of Detroit, the National Black Conference of State Legislators,
Okay.
going back in the 70s, started by David Holmes, and he started all the Black caucuses, the Congressional Black Caucus, the Michigan Black Caucus, and the National Caucus of Black Legislators. Charlie Diggs, I knew Charlie Diggs, also who was born in the UNIA. He didn't follow it as much as his father professed, but his father committed suicide back in '67, back in 1967. But he was a UNIA member. Charles Diggs, he was a state senator here, and then his son became a congressperson, and he was one of the few Congress people, post Reconstruction. He was in even before Adam Clayton Powell.
Okay. I know. Well, I'd like to give the brother Ross Kimian a chance to speak. I see Brother Boatwright is joining us. Greetings. Um, we've been talking about mobilizing in Detroit and the Florida, Georgia area, but I know Detroit had a Jamaican fundraiser, and I also know that Ross Kimian. I've seen that there was a fundraiser for Jamaica. I was wondering how if we could maybe collaborate as far as what's coming down with the TPS and what we can do, um, maybe to organize regionally.
Yeah, give thanks, give thanks. Can you all hear me good?
Yes.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so I represent the Ethiopian World Federation Incorporated, Local 49, Charter Mahel Safari. And what we're going to need and what we're working on and what we're getting in alignment with is agriculture. So even in our works, the support we were given to Jamaica is a part of our charter. As a member from our charter, he's in Jamaica. Is House of Siba, Rastafari Sacred Space. They do farming. They cultivate ganja and they cultivate some other herbs and plants. Um, but it is a learning center and a center for the culture to be practiced of Rastafari, with the Nyabingi and the other houses as well. They also have a connection to one of the uh, Ethiopian Tiwahedo priests in Jamaica. So this is the capacity we're moving in. It's not looking to have events, but looking to have cultural spaces. And our events are more like ceremonial. And then the main thing that we dealing with, even through the ceremonial, will be the making of linkages, bartering and trade, bartering talent, and then getting to trade into different things that we offer. Started with agriculture, because everything that deals with culture starts with agriculture. Even when you talk about the health and the pharmacy, it's the farmers that see what the people need. So that's what we're working with. That's what we're going to be focusing on. Not, like I said, not events and the protesting, but studying international law and seeing how international law works. And what we have at the Ethiopian World Federation is very much the instrument and the tool that is needed to make things happen for everyone. Uh, if you ever study the Montevideo Convention and see how that works with international law, you have to have uh, a permanent population. In our constitution, it says, "We the black peoples of the world." You have to have land. We do have the land in Shashamani that we have some settlement over there on that was given to us in a diplomatic and legal matter through the Federation. And we also have a flag, which was through our constitution we were given the the flag from Ethiopia to align with the red, gold, and green. Now, Marcus Garvey and Haile Selassie are very much in alignment, because if you ever look at the time that they started, it's about the same. A lot of people know Rastafari from 1930, but before that, he was doing works already, in his time as Dismatch, as Ras, also as Negus, before 1930. 1919, they sent a delegation under Empress Zuditu of 4 Ethiopian emissaries, to Chicago and New York, Harlem, to speak with the diaspora. So this is the centralizing and the organizing, from different points of the field. When the time comes for these special things to happen, it's not always one person. It's always many. It's always many that are coming up at the same time, and then there are different pieces to the puzzle. If you ever watch yourself, shows like the Power Rangers or some of these cartoons with the robots that come together, this is what the movement is missing. That vision that, yes, we have superpowers. Yes, we are able to organize in different places and different spaces. Yes, we do have our convictions and our, love and our zeal for our leadership that has brought us the message and brought us the vision. But do we see the vision? Do we see the blueprint? And do we realize that they were showing us the blueprint? And then when you look at the blueprint and you meditate on the blueprint, just like within religion, when you focus on the way and the teachings of Christ, not just Christ himself, we focus on the teachings of what he taught, and then he reminded us of Psalms 82. You know, he said in Matthew, doesn't it say in your scriptures that ye are God, children of the Most High? So he reminds us that it's not just him alone. He is the initiator, he is the head. um you know and from that we have the body. So, at this point, we are like different Power Rangers, or different powerful entities with powers. And then, we have our machines that we move through, and these are our charters that we have all over the place, our different units. But the units have to come together to form that body, because when the robots come together, they always form a humanoid body. They could be robots that look like cars, that look like animals and stuff, but when they come together to defeat the enemy, to defeat the evil, when the evil puts together itself, it comes into a humanoid form. And to me, my interpretation of that is the constitution of the EWF and the jurisdiction that the emperor gave to us, uh, to join with everybody else. It's a jurisdiction that takes us out of what the Papa Bull did with the doctrine of discovery as well. How they took everything and put them into these companies, aka these colonies that became these countries and nations. And they did that through their kings and the popes. They did that through the kings and the popes. So here comes the Black King, who's also the head of his church, which is the Coptic Ethiopian Tewahedo Church, which he took from Alexandria, which is very symbolic of the River Nile, and how the message came down, because the Egyptians say that they came from the mountains of the moon, they came from the upper Nile, so Greater Ethiopia, Kush, Punt. They came from there, and that message came down, and here he goes to pick it back up and bring it into Ethiopia, and then bring it out to the world. And the important thing is Ethiopia, because that's what Marcus Garvey was talking about: Ethiopianism, Ethiopia, Ethiopia. And the alignment is this: we have to say Ethiopia, because Ethiopia is not just a country over there. That country became Ethiopia when they became a nation, when they got a constitution. But before that, I was Abyssinia. On the old maps, we see all the great, great old maps of the Ethiopic Sea, which is now known as the Atlantic Ocean. We also see the old maps have places like West Africa called Judah. And we see even other places in on different maps that have Judah in different places south of Ethiopia, south of the Levant. So Greater Ethiopia, ancient Ethiopia, the Ethiopian Empire is us, we the black peoples of the world. We lived in an empire that was not a dogmatic empire. It was not a dictatorship. It let every kingdom do what they needed to do for their people. And another thing we're also finding out is that the royal people from the different kingdoms are related. The Khoisan royalty is related to the royalty in Ethiopia. And we also have the different sectors of Hebrews and Jewish tribes all over the continent that are very ancient, such as the Igbo, with over 6,000 years worth of artifacts in just one area that it can prove. And they have even more ancient things in in um in Igbo in that area in Nigeria that's over 100,000 years old. But the key thing is there's a connection of the Melchizedek order. There's a connection of that Ethiopian's kings list. We talk about Ori, and we move in that capacity now. And with this capacity, all it takes is for us to unify with a constitution that does not discriminate about anybody's religion, does not discriminate about anything. And it is for us, we the black peoples. It is a place where we have good standing in international law as black, as BLACK. It has good standing in law under this constitution. So we seen America starting with the 13 colonies being started by King James and other people. We've seen Canada and these different places being started by the royal families and then being given jurisdiction from the Pope to go do these things. So once again, here comes the emperor, um, and before him we had Menelik the second, who sparked the Pan Africanism and made a very, very big impact with that show of getting feudal kings that used to fight all the time just for the fun of it, to get them together, to fight against the beast, and then seeing the destiny of us being unified as when people talk about, oh, the world must become one, the world must become unified in Christ and these different things, it is us. And Ethiopia was the defender of the faith to be a nation of Christians that was almost colonized twice. And they made the claim like, hey, y'all claim to be coming to Christianize the world. Well, we are Christian. And that was unrefuted, and they defended our faith. And then we seen Kwame Nkrumah working with His Majesty and a whole lot of other countries, over 20 plus countries, I think about 30 or so, working with His Majesty for their independence with his guidance. But he wasn't, talking about it like how we see a lot of leaders today out here talking about themselves in bravado, and they end up in problems. He did it silently, and he just did the paperwork, the work that was needed for us to hand out to each other. So yes, we have our IDs. I got my ID already for my EWF. And definitely encourage UNIA to have IDs as well. Because that's one of the ways, people get mobilized. It's by them having these things to say, hey, this is how we represent. This is I got my card. I show my anticipation, my participation. I show how I represent. But definitely, we're looking to do things in agriculture, looking to do things in trade. Ras Jabali in Jamaica with House of Siba, we got some products over there. Right now we got some rolling paper that we are pushing, and the push is with the incentive of sovereignty. It's not about us getting licensed in their system or whatnot. They have a great story in Jamaica of being able to get back their large amount of ganja that was taken by the police in Jamaica. They got it back because they cited the right things when it dealt with sovereignty, and they were able to get back their pounds and pounds of marijuana. So we have that, under our belt. And that's the main thing that we're pushing behind of the rolling paper. But these things is ways how we can build revenue with each other through commerce. So we can get those things shipped out to Florida, get them shipped out to Detroit. Um, I'm not sure of the cannabis laws in Detroit, but I'm sure that's a good industry, especially with you being right next to Canada. I know you're all on the Windsor side because my mother-in-law, past mother, my ex-mother-in-law, she lives in Windsor. So I've drove from Georgia through Detroit to get to Windsor, Canada. So I've been around in parts. I used to live in Buffalo for a couple of years, so I've been to Toronto, and drove from over that side to get to Windsor as well. Um, but yeah, yeah. And I know that the situation of sometimes the membership does not participate enough, and that is because they cannot see the reality of this is a whole nother world. We're doing our own thing on every level. And that is a hard thing to fathom sometimes when you got to get certain things to be paid and fees and all these different things, and you got to deal with work and all these different things. But once we get the agriculture going, once we get those simple products going that people use every day, those household products also, I've been hearing some good things about UNIA with organizing, getting things done with money and these different things, selling stuff and whatnot. So once we get the right minds into rooms that are called think tanks, and we think of different things of how we can come together and form MOUs, how trade routes of different products and these different things, whether it's, food products like peppers, hot sauce, whether it is paper, whether it is water, whether it is, t-shirts, uh, and these different things, we get something going. Hold on.
And thank you for that presentation. I just wanted to say quickly that the Caribbean is if you're talking to Rastafari, they're very well organized, and more aligned with the UNIA. Then it's easier to work with them than starting something brand new. Maybe use the UNIA as an umbrella for different organizations to come together as long as they're aligned. Uh, with the family values. But yeah, you got the Eastern Caribbean states, you got the Jamaica, you got Haiti right there, and the Spanish Caribbean, the Spanish speaking, all the way to South America. So it's word can travel fast and things can change very quickly. You see what's going on in the Sahel, the Caribbean. If we use a Spanish, network that Haiti used to use, we get Jamaica, we get the Rastafari. We could get organized very quickly if we team up with Africa. I know in Nigeria has a embassy in Jamaica. Maybe the Rastafari could activate the whole United States of Africa, moving from there. But I know Jamaica has an embassy, and the Sahel Alliance in Nigeria are neighbors. So we're trying to get some intervention there. The stock market is something I'm pushing. I'm representing. But we need with that's to have this brother here on the in near Jacksonville in the area in Savannah. It's very strong, and I know they have a North Carolina base as well. There's an Igbo Day in North Carolina, June 6th. Maybe we could get a partnership going. Um, I know I have a stock market group. I think the Forex group. They have people in Jamaica. Maybe we could get something going. But it's come to my attention that most Black people live in within a few hours of each other in the USA, but we don't build economics. Sometimes we build lawsuits and sue each other. That's what I'm trying to avoid in organizing. So um, this could spread real fast if we just avoid certain, you know, self-hate incidents. But if I can count on Brother Ross Kimmy, we can really build something down here in Florida and Georgia. We're only 2 hours from each other. Um, they have a whole Caribbean network. South American network. I think we could build something solid. I just have to. I think I have more people. Well, I know I have more people, but if I just the person who brings people together to sign MOUs and things like that, I think we can have a solid base here in Jacksonville. And with Detroit, I can reach out to people from Igboland, and see, we could just put flyers together, mobilize, and grow slowly, um, or rapidly. We'll see. But agriculture, I'm writing notes down. Travel. I think travel to Nigeria, seeing how many people we could get. That's something that I wrote down as a regional goal for us in Jacksonville and Detroit. I think we should mirror each other in Savannah. See if we could get people to travel Savannah and Jacksonville back and forth. And like you said, the money, it takes money to get off these jobs. So I'm going to head tomorrow to the credit union to see if I could get a loan. And I'm also going to be looking at investing. So, because if I can learn how to invest, then I could teach others. I could teach others, maybe sponsor them. We could probably get a loan from the Biafra governments. The one I'm working with is under Dr. Orobueze in Atlanta, but I think they're giving out a loan. Um, and with Ethiopia, that's also the basis of the African Union. So that could be a it is a headquarters for what we're trying to do. I have in my mind Caribbean headquarters like Jamaica, Grenada, Haiti, of course. Also talking to a chief in Curacao, Igbo chief. They speak Spanish and they're near Venezuela, so and they're part of the UNIA down there in Curacao. So and I think they got a Rasta brother I talked to, but he says he's not aligned with the UNIA. But it's we're very well organized if we work together. I know I probably have to get more talk to the churches here and the African American community, some people. But it's the last thing I wanted to say for now is sometimes it takes the community has one person that mobilizes, and they rely on them to do a lot of the mobilizing. So I think I found some of them here in Jacksonville, but sometimes it's not a lot of people that'll get the crowd out. So I think I found the key organizers here. So, but I'd like to count the brother Ross Kimian as part of us, of what we're building. Like he said, Voltron, forming coming together. It's an organization. It's an organized body turn into humanoid form. That's what we need to build. Like I said, the umbrella Negro Improvement Association. We get the right organizations together, the right nations together under one local. It'll work. So I think we need EWF for a base. There's another group here called Pan African Federalist Movement, but uh, I think they have to be more consistent. In well, I don't know. We'll see. I think that they'd have to work, like you said, an MOU out with the EWF and just be consistent. I think they're older and maybe they might not be able to do certain things, but we could put out recruiting and things like that. But I don't know. I think I'm committed to just working together and seeing what we could do. That's a solid first step to have the EWF in the area because I don't know where it's like in Savannah, but we have a serious issue over here in Jacksonville. Morally, moral deficiency. How you doing? Uh, but yeah, sign of the times. So I don't know if there's anything else to comment, or we might close the phone call. Just stay committed, and I'm going to see how I can mobilize people in Detroit, put people in the right connections. The National Business League, that's a good connection that's already been made. Um, and I can bring the Igbo associations, and I'm going to report this back to them and see what we could do. I don't know. I would like to ask Ross Kimmian, are you close to the Rastafari in North Carolina, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Rastafari North Carolina Union.
So okay, so do you do the
Yeah, yeah, US dot first.
you, okay, and is there still the Soul City Festival going on regularly?
Just about to tell you about that. Yeah. So that's something we could definitely get together. That's in August.
August, Soul City, August, and also in June there's an Igbo Day. So that would be a day put to put Rasta on the platform. I know there's also
That's
yeah
is that in North Carolina or Virginia?
yes Raleigh.
Raleigh, yeah. Okay, yeah, Raleigh. Yeah, yeah. I remember I missed that last year.
That's June. So that could
But
probably
we looking to quite possibly have it in Atlanta this year, the Black August.
okay. It's gonna be in August. It's gonna be in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not going to be in Soul City. Okay,
Well, we haven't made that final decision yet. We still working it out. We're trying to get the logistics, but um, yeah, I'm taking Atlanta this year.
okay,
But that depends on who we get to participate. If we get a good enough crowd of different organizations, we'll get to pull some people. But that place is kind of secluded, um, so it takes a lot more advertising that we had planned for. So we didn't get too much action that we wanted. But
okay,
Atlanta, we could get a crowd drawn in a lot easier, and at the same time there's a lot of talk, a lot of good things going on in Atlanta when it comes to the movement of the mines and stuff. If you know about Brother Blue Pill, Brother Red Pill, and all that stuff,
okay,
Dr. Phil Valentine, Bobby Hemmett, yeah, that crowd is there in Atlanta.
okay.
Um,
A lot of the embassies are there,
well, yeah,
and
you got that too. Yeah,
I
and
know.
then even
Yeah,
even the Biafra, one of the Biafra leaders, she's in Atlanta.
you know Dr. Oro Bueze.
I don't know personally. I wish I did. I would love to talk to her. Is that's one of the three leaders, right?
Yeah, brother. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I would love to have a chat with her.
I'll
Definitely,
record it. Yeah,
because
yeah. You can.
huh?
She went to. I'm gonna record this, but I'm gonna clip this because she went to the Sahel Alliance. But the funny, because this is the
Oh,
thing.
thank God.
Yeah,
That's all I needed to hear, because that crap with Israel was scaring the crap out of me.
that Israel.
I'm
Yeah,
like, man, what the hell they doing? Them people spit on black people.
yeah. They scare that stuff to be scaring people. Like the stuff that they post, like they're the elder generation. They don't know certain things, but they
Yeah, they don't know. Like, these people walking around in the streets and they talk. They do not like Christians.
man,
And
yeah,
and, and the stuff that Netanyahu has said out of his mouth, and the
yeah.
stuff that they did to the Ethiopian Jews, and then the stuff that they did to
Sterilize them, and
okay, why are we going asking them for recognition? No.
that's why
Yes, please go to the Sahel.
they don't.
AES.
Yeah, they don't understand a lot of the elders. They don't understand a lot of politics because they're in church all the time.
Yes.
So they just some
Yes.
people. One person said he didn't know if Eritrea was free. He didn't know the difference between Somalia and Eritrea. And these are some of the people running the government media for Biafra. So they really don't know. And I know it's because they're in the church because I don't know a lot of stuff. Only reason I
Yes.
know because I stay
I,
out of church and read. So they don't know a lot of
I
things.
got a chance. I got a chance to be on one of the houses
Mhm.
on Twitter where they talk and stuff,
Uh-huh.
and I got a chance to be on stage, and they were surprised, like, who is this guy? Where he came from? Because I was like, yo, did you know that Israel did blah blah blah? They're like, oh no, you would not talk bad about. I'm like, I'm
Oh
not
my
talking
God!
bad
Yeah,
about that. I'm telling the truth. And
yeah.
it was funny. Before I went on stage, that somebody was talking about, we must speak up. We must not be quiet when we know things are wrong. I'm like, perfect. Here I come. But they took me off of the
See,
show.
see that we gotta fix that because even if I was looking at it, they don't know the accurate count of the Spanish Caribbean speakers. It might be 40 to 60 million, and then you got 6 million with Jamaica and the Trinidad and the Eastern Caribbean states, Bahamas, U.S. Virgin Islands. We got a Speaker of the House in the Congress with Virgin Islands. We might have maybe 7 million people in the Eastern Caribbean. with Jamaica, the
Yeah.
English
So
speaking
so
state.
like
So
so like
we
I said before,
you need a voice.
just have to get everyone at the table and have everybody see how the international laws work
Uh-huh.
and what it is that makes sense. What's the
Uh-huh.
most peaceful way how to get through it? And once again, everything is through Ethiopia. If all the groups get together and we recognize each other, we help fund each other, it's the same thing like what Ethiopia did with the dam. They
Mhm.
went to the world to get a loan. They're like, nope, you're not getting no loan. They came together and they got their money together from the diaspora of Ethiopians and Ethiopians in the country. They did the credit line stuff. They did all type of stuff that just made sense from the ground level of working together. And we
Yeah,
got that.
and this is okay. This is exciting because okay, let's say we start with Ethiopia, Royal Ethiopia as headquarters one or one of the headquarters.
Shashamani.
Okay, do you know that? Do you know that the capital of Burkina Faso is also a kingdom with a king?
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So we
That's
could do a
what
royal
that's
tour. Or we could do a royal tour, but Mali has a well, it's a royal market. I don't think there's a chief over it, but there's a nearby chief. We could do a royal tour of Mali, Burkina Faso, Ethiopia, and then build out. We might just have 10 headquarters. If we go down to Zimbabwe, or well, we might have more than it'll be less than 50 headquarters. Let's say that we could have like even if we cut it down to 20 headquarters in Africa, or that's better than 50,
yeah,
and
that's
that adds room for the
either,
Caribbean.
either which way how it is.
Uh huh.
Key thing, like it says in international law, like we seen what happened in 1948 over there in the Levant. What they did in 1948 is what we were supposed to do fully.
What was
They
that?
got their they got their people together over here in America
Hmm.
first, find out what the different things they needed to do to organize themselves. They made a constitution and they got recognized by the United Nations and they got recognized by America and they have the royal family of England or whatnot do something as well.
Are you talking about
Then
Israel?
yeah, bro.
Oh well, there. Oh man.
You know, it's not about the bull crap they did.
Uh huh.
They used. It's about the technology. That's what we gotta
Okay.
focus on.
Hmm.
We gotta focus on the technology. Once again, it's the same thing happened in the past when the Europeans came with the guns and stuff. We talking about righteousness and this and that. We were supposed to get the technology and reverse engineer it. That's
Hmm.
it. That's it. So
Hmm.
if back in the day the Akan knew how to remake a Gatling gun, it would have been a level playing field. We gotta be on that mindset. So the technology that we use is law, and all of that stems from customary law, and all of that stems from the kingdoms, and all that stems from Kemet,
Hmm.
and that goes back to Ethiopia, and then beyond Ethiopia, Punt, and beyond that, and the pre-ancient world, Atlantis, that is Ethiopia, because there's a reason why the continent is called Ethiopia. There's a reason why the Greeks, when they talk about in the Iliad, when they talk about the gods dwelling with the Ethiopians, is for a reason. But
Hmm.
we think because of the propaganda of mud huts or the propaganda of the constant berating of false information and false names, calling us the dark continent. What part of Africa is dark? It's bright and sunny. The only place that's dark are the rainforests in the Congo, and that's full of light when you go
Hmm.
and do the right rituals.
Hmm.
You know, they said all kind of things that we have no past, we have no this, and they have all type of fun, fun documentaries with clever people who speak in a demeaning way of Africans and at the same time telling the truth and a lie. but we stick to the lie because of shame and degradation and what we've been told as, oh, black means this, black means that, and we looking at that part and say, oh man, you ain't gonna got nothing. Black people always that. There's a movie that came out years ago called The Gods Must Be Crazy. You ever seen that movie?
No.
I have.
Okay.
It's about the Khoisan, the Bushmen in South Africa. They named it the Gods Must Be Crazy. And I just told you the Khoisan people have a bloodline linked to the Solomonic dynasty.
Mhm. 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 Okay.
One minute. Hold on. Yeah, they have a link to that. Yeah, go ahead, but Smart only going to say something.
Sorry, I'm doing laundry right now.
Okay, I can talk now.
Okay.
So yeah, everything is through Ethiopia. And the thing about the EWF, when you come in as a charter, you can come in as UNIA. You can name yourself the same chapter that you are as UNIA. So whatever your chapter is in Florida, you can name that to be the name for your charter under the EWF.
Oh,
So
we
you
don't.
still keep your
That's the issue. We don't have anything in the Florida yet. We
but you
don't.
can you well, yeah. But wherever in Detroit, you know,
Mhm.
in Jamaica, wherever you have chapters right now, because the last I heard, one of the like I told you before, one of your international representatives is a part of one of the charters.
I'm not sure. I'm not
He's in New
sure.
York.
I'm not sure who that. I'm not. Well, Jacksonville kind of has been. But I've been doing my thing in Jacksonville by myself. I haven't had anybody really helping, so that's why I had this
Well,
call. I'm
well,
trying to put together a team.
Detroit is part of Michael Duncan, where he's the president general, and we have the Fakarak. Michael Duncan is was born in Jamaica and came here when he was about 14, and so we have a farm there in Jamaica, and we do have business in Jamaica where we bring in some of the food to New York in the
Baccarat.
Fakarak. Yeah,
Federation of
Fakarak.
African or American Caribbean Association
Right.
of Restaurants. So they're
Yeah.
agricultural based.
Right. It's agricultural based. We also
Okay.
we also have a farm in Curacao, and we have a farm in Liberia, and we have a school in Liberia um, where we educate girls because in the culture there, if they can only afford to educate one person in the family, it would always be the boy. So the girls don't. So we set up an all girls school that we do sponsor. Um, we're affiliated in Detroit. We're affiliated directly with them. We sent during the disaster. We did send a crate to Jamaica. The crate alone cost $5,000 to ship. That doesn't even include all the materials that we sent there to Jamaica. So we do, as I said, we do have a farm and more importantly, we have contracts with farms in Jamaica where we bring the food that's grown there, and we bring it to the restaurant and the stores uh, in New York. Here in Detroit, we have a different. We're affiliated. We have a member who is the founder of the Detroit Food Sovereignty Network, Black Food Sovereignty Network, as well as we have Detroit People's Food Co-op, which has which is a operating store that operates 7 days a week. And so that's what we have going on here in Detroit. So between the two entities, we are working heavily in agriculture and in food. And we have more of a, they call it a farm here in the city, but it's more of a garden. But we do grow things and sell those in the grocery store as well.
Okay.
It's more of a large garden than a real farm.
Hmm.
But it's
Yeah, man,
inside.
that
But it's
sounds good.
it's within the inner city of the city of Detroit.
Okay. So, well, this is I'm presenting the stock market, but I have to. I'm learning that I have to go into it maybe by myself because it's you got to change your whole life around that time slot of 9 a.m. 9:30 p.m. They make money in a very small window of time, and it's that's harder than it sounds when you got to shift your schedule around. So I'm trying to do what I can. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm learning I can't. So, but what's going on right now? If you know with the news, Venezuela and now it's connected to Haiti, and then you got Nigeria and the Sahel Alliance right next door, and the U.S. government and France. There's assassination attempts every day. Um, Most of the cultural groups, you say African Americans are 50 million, and the Caribbean they got 50 million. Brazil 100 million. A lot of those groups that are that size. One or maybe a couple of them are in Eastern Africa. I think, yeah, I think one is in Ethiopia and Somalia. The Kushites, and then you have the most of them are in West Africa. The Fulani are being mentioned. The Somali are being mentioned. Uh, a lot of those cultures are in West Africa. So if we're talking about the United Nations and a mass movement, you're looking at the Sahel. You're looking at Nigeria. So the USA is tracking what we're doing and trying to block everything. So if we get the Caribbean and what in the AES and Biafra together, northern Nigeria is mostly basically house of Sahelian kingdoms that were conquered. But if we get we get you guys, the Caribbean and African Americans, into that space
Yeah.
that they've been
Let me,
blocking you, saying talking, giving that they've been Biafrans, Igbos, we've been giving that space to Israel and USA and Trump. That should have been going to African American and African Caribbean people, and that's what I've been
yeah,
telling them
man.
for years.
Like Biafra should be asking Barbados to recognize them.
It's
They
ridiculous.
should be asking. They should be asking Jamaica to recognize them. They should be asking the other African countries to recognize them. But they stuck on this Christian thing,
Exactly.
and the Christian thing is a problem because it's just used against them over and over again.
And
It's going to be
they're not
used.
realizing that if they recognize Biafra, they got some lobbyists saying that they're going to do it, but we know that game because if you recognize Biafra, then what's the Northern Nigeria going to do? They're going to just go join the Sahel Alliance. If they're cousins, they're family members. So
Yeah,
you just double the size of the Sahel Alliance. You think the USA wants to do that? You think France?
they
They're not. They're just
no, they
hearing.
of course
Yeah,
not.
they just see it on
Of
TV.
course not.
They're just falling for the tricks. The USA says Christians, this and that. They're working with the government in Nigeria. They're all corrupt. So they don't
Yeah,
understand
man.
that. But that's the spot that 60 million Caribbean people and African Brazilians and African Americans should be occupying that dialogue. That's why I made this call because the UNIA is really supposed to be to organize tribes and ethnic groups, and that's all of them are in West Africa, and that's why they move so fast. The Sahel lines move so fast. They're all the same cultural group, and they're 50 million here, 50 million there. I think the House is 70 million. So they moved it fast, but now we're seeing the politicians are killing it. So it's kind of urgent situation. I thank you for picking up the call because I know the energy is for unity right now. So even if it's just you, or you're connected to 60 million people at least with the Caribbean. It means a lot. So a lot of people didn't answer the call, but you just here's like half of the puzzle. Like you said, Voltron. I know I have I think that people in the Black Psychologist Field Association. the Amy Church Association. I'm counting maybe on one sister who can probably bring everything together. But I'm going to look into maybe starting patching you guys over to Nigeria for regional. See if we could do something regionally here in Florida, in Savannah, even yeah, yeah. I was thinking about the Ebo landing, but that's not entirely controlled by us. That event, and that costs money to do an event, and then you don't have any planning and crucial
Yeah, it's
time.
not.
Crucial
Yeah, like
time.
like I
Yeah,
tell you, like I told you before, just get the right heads, and we're gonna make it happen. Not the event planning. We're
yeah.
gonna get
I'm
the right
counting.
heads first to get us acquainted with each other and see where we can move in the different programs that we have going on already. Like the brother from Detroit talking about those different things. Um, yeah, once we get those different people to get together with some people in Jamaica that we got going over there, it'll be pushed through. So if there's a line from Jamaica to New York already, we've been talking with farmers on the ground over there about their food amnesty, and even there was some rumor about different types of food being banned from being sent into the U.S. and these different things. So it would have messed with the Jamaican economy and these different stuff. So with that, we can use that unit that's moving and get some other things to be going. But I got another phone call coming in.
Okay, I'll thank you for your time, brother. That means a lot. 67 million, in my opinion, Caribbean
All right,
people.
give thanks.
Thank you for representing. Thank you.